How should the military budget be adjusted?
A great question. We want to gradually lower the budget on military spending and see how this affects our Department of Defense resources, our connections with foreign nations, and our economy. As we are reducing our military budget, we'll also be reviewing military contracts as well. We need to be making sure that even though so much funding is being used up, such funding is being used effectively. These recent years have seen failures to effectively utilize this budget, or failure to replace outdated weapon systems and equipment. Shows revision is completely and utterly necessary. As my fellow presidential candidate AYDEN Kornjob stated, this program would include mandatory increase in military contracts and the standards for military contracts, so that we can get what we're paying for with a more efficient military. It is with these views that we agree with the Sioux Party and wish to be able to even work with them to appropriately distribute military funds, so that even though we're cutting back on military funding, we'll be redistributing the funding effectively.
Why would you get rid of student debt if it was the student's choice to go to school? They should have to pay, not me.
I see. Our addressing of the student issue wouldn't be traditionally through extra taxes, but through funds acquired through the deduction of the military budget and reorganization. Not to mention, we will also set up a donation system for those willing to give out-of-pocket money to help eradicate student debt. We wish to be able to also as well open apprenticeship programs to provide jobs to revitalize economic growth in many stalling industries and also alleviate the student debt issue. Funding into apprenticeships programs can provide entry-level jobs that provide services but also revitalize industries as well. It also provides recent college graduates and college students career experience in acquiring jobs that pay out debt. This aligns with the Jackalope's Party statement that says we advocate for less in the book learning and more experience hands-on learning, because college is not meant for everybody. Some students would be more successful engaging in their desired career paths. Me and the Salcido Party agree with the Jackalope's Party's messages, and we also agree with the presidential candidate Jack Hume, and we wish to work further with them in this area.
You mentioned the lower income earners pay more in tax than the rich. That is incorrect.
Data found on 9 little-known facts about taxes and inequality in America shows an alarming fact: lower-income workers being taxed more on payrolls than the rich. Lower-income workers on incomes of less than 5 figures are taxed 14.1% on income payrolls, whereas those on 7 figures are only taxed 1.9% on their payrolls. This data shows a massive disparity between upper and lower-income citizens on just payroll tax. Many will always attempt to chastise the lower classes, but we may never recognize how much the base income on lower income families are taking. This of course needs to be changed. Those who earn more pay less, which should be reversed to give them those struggling day to day to make ends meet get the opportunity to improve their quality of life.
Day 2 of the Salcido Party press conference.
Joeyed electric cars also cause a negative impact on society.
All electric cars do to society is increase environmental awareness, bringing people to be more careful and thoughtful about the planet they live in. But I believe your question was directed to be centered around environmental effects. Of course, electric cars don't produce any gas emissions, which is an amazing advance as it is. And looking at the skyrocketing gas prices, people look more into buying them for the benefit of not wasting a chunk of their paycheck on gas. Of course, the process of making them does make gas emissions, and charging ports are not that common to find, which is another thing we want to change. Another thing we want to make more available to encourage people to buy a better car for a better environment. As much as creating and maintaining these cars may be harmful, it is still a better step to a safer environment than to keep using gasoline cars.
How would anyone buy a Tesla? This is not feasible in so many ways.
This question struck my party as odd. We personally would buy our people Teslas, including model and color of choice. But in all seriousness, this also was put into the video for a sort of example of what we want Wasanlandia to move forward, and which of course includes moving from using gasoline cars to electric cars. The Tesla was added to the video for comedic effect, also due to the fact Teslas are not cheap, which is why we will continue to support other cheapened methods of moving to environmental friendly strategies for a cleaner Wasanlandia.
What's so bad about coleslaw?
The long-awaited question. Coleslaw was added to bring awareness to change we wish to achieve. Eating habits. Not only is coleslaw not at all pleasant due to its hazardous amount of mayonnaise placed in a bowl with cabbage and lettuce, mayo is extremely caloric and counteracts the low calories in cabbage. A recent Food Commission report found that KFC's coleslaw contains 22.4 grams of fat, way more than a KFC filet burger, 15.6 grams, and a large french fry, 19.4 grams. But honestly, who's counting? All in all, coleslaw is a disgusting food, both taste-wise and nutrition-wise. This needs to be changed. The first step? Banning coleslaw entirely.